No. Hey, you just tuned back into another episode, like Talk About It, bring you the best in underground hip hop, underground and also mainstream. You dig? Today, man, we're gonna be chopping it up with this mogul. You dig? This Bel'Aire boy, man, been doing it for a minute, man. Hey, went from balling in motherfucking college to now he teaching motherfucking creatives how to ball. You know what I'm saying? He bring the shit to the spot, bro. He bring it from the museum to the rooftop, giving opportunity to the creators, man. Not just lyrically, but with the paintbrush, you dig? But more than that, he teaches us how to build an empire. And we're gonna do just that tonight, man. Take notes, man. Tap in. It's 9, like talking about it.
Like talking about
you
it.
Dig?
You dig?
You tap in.
Yes, let's go. Tap in. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Met Dennis, man. It's going down tonight. Yeah. Yelling at the man himself. Dig? We tap in with him right quick. See what on there.
Come on now.
Let's get it. Get it.
Yeah.
Tonight's big business. Yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
Oh.
OG,
What's
big
happening?
How
What's
you
happening there,
doing?
man?
I ain't gonna be in the chair too long, man. But I figured I just I
Yeah,
figured
we
this
see you getting it together.
Yo, stay fresh to death, you dig? What's been happening, man? How are you?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just really just focused on this fourth quarter right now. Just really trying to finish out strong to start off the top of the year. A lot of my friends right now, I'm trying to tell them how important the fourth quarter is just to be able to go into the top of the year. So
Most definitely.
that's where we
Well,
at.
man, we wanted to tap in with you, man. You know, I mean, you have a great story. You know what I'm saying? I want to start with just that. You know, you being young, and coming from Cleveland, and you know having ambitions, and even playing basketball, even in college, and you wanting to get out and help the culture. Tell me when you first had the vision to even go into the boss type of thoughts, or the boss wanting to be a boss, should I say?
So I'll start back from just like my parents, honestly, where it really originated from. Like, my dad's Jamaican, my mom's from Guyana, which is in South America. So, not being from America, they kind of had that like boss and entrepreneur mentality already. So for me, being born and raised in New York, it allowed me to really see like not just struggle, but like a lot of like growth. Growth within like
Absolutely.
culture, growth within, really being your own boss with your own business. And that's something that I always told myself I wanted to be able to capitalize on it and kind of, learn myself from just, making mistakes, from,
Right.
being away from home. But honestly, when I graduated college, I looked at myself and I told myself like, number one, I knew I didn't want to have to consistently have to work a 9 to 5 job for the rest of my life. And nothing, don't
Absolutely.
get me wrong, nothing is wrong with a 9 to 5 job, but I think, as you look at what you want for yourself, you got to really fall in love with your day-to-day grind, and if you don't fall in love with your day-to-day grind, then sometimes it's tough to really wake yourself up every morning and stay motivated, so that's what kind of started it
Yes.
for me, to be able to get to some of the opportunities and the things and people I'm in the room with right now, but every day is a growth. I look at every day as a growing opportunity, and that's what keeps me just wanting more, honestly, day and day. Yeah.
Well, what Tell me, well, first of all, let's start from the beginning. Tell me your love for music. Because I know obviously you have a love for music because you
100%.
transition from just going from business to wanting to
Right,
have
right,
music part of the art.
right. I mean, music honestly is it's a big part of my life. You know, everything from showering to music, brushing my teeth to waking up in the morning and having to put some music on.
Wow.
It's the vibrations that kind of go through your body that allow you to kind of just like, I guess you could say, stay creative for me. You know, one of my close friends, which is when we connected out in Houston. One of my close friends who's a music artist. We've been friends since we were 15 years old. So
Right.
that's 10 plus years. And I think what allowed me to really fall in love with music was really fall in love with his music, and really see the struggle and see everything that he was talking about that was real, and allow me to really gravitate and see how much culture is infected in music. And then from there, I just told myself, like, this is something that I know I wanted to be a part of. I always tell people I don't rap, I don't sing, I don't write, I don't make beats, I don't produce, I don't do
Right.
none of that whatsoever. But for me, it's like just being in the room and being able to still cultivate and create with an artist and with the producer, and be able
Sure.
to bring people together is my love for music. That's what's been able to keep me and separate me from people who are trying to do the same thing that I'm doing in a way. It's just the genuine love for music as well as just connecting people.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, because I also know you are one that you can go to and you can teach about starting a business. So I want to ask you this: how, first of all, before I even come to you, how do I determine if I'm even a boss?
Um, you know, it's funny you got Ross in the background. I love that, number one.
Most
um,
definitely.
but I mean, when it comes to being a boss, in my perspective, my dad always told me, like, number one, you got to be a man or woman of your word. You know what I mean? So when you tell somebody you're gonna do something, and that's still something that I face and I learn day to day as I'm still growing. I think that's number one, though, being able to set your goal and being able to stay strong in your word. People respect you just for that. Number one, they don't, before any type of money, before any type of anything else you put in their face, they're gonna respect you for what you say. So I
Exactly.
think I think it starts there. But secondly, I think you really just have to be a self motivator. You got to wake up every morning and tell yourself, this is what I'm about to get done today. This is what's going on today. These are my objectives. These are my goals for the day, and really obtain them. A lot of
Right.
people like to talk and let the talking, be the action. But real bosses, they kind of sit in the back and want to bring everybody else up around them and including themselves to the forefront, but they don't have to talk about it. They let the actions and the results, and they let other people talk about it, opposed
Come
to
on now.
opposed to you
Yes.
having to talk about it so much yourself. So that's the two things right there I think that are most important is, number one, having the willing and the want and the consistency to do it and being strong in your word. And number two, letting other people talk about, what type of boss you are. If somebody can openly and willingly say how good of a person you are and how good of a owner or a boss you are, then that speaks for itself at some time. So
That's facts.
shout out to everybody who's in this chat right now, man, from Cleveland to LA to Houston to New York.
Most
That's right.
definitely.
Throw them
You
Most
know,
shouts
definitely.
out.
Salute. Salute.
Yes. You got to give a
Salute.
love to the people that's watching.
Thank you. Thank you.
100%.
Yes.
When we speak of business, as we, a lot of us, sometimes want to think, we'll say, I need to know the steps of starting a business, and if someone had to come and ask you, well, look, what is the top three major things that I need to understand before even starting a business, before you even tell me what's needed?
I think you got to have a goal. Number one, what's the goal that you want to be able to provide within your business? What's the objective? What's your mission statement? You know what I mean? I think that's something that just has to be planted on your forehead. You got to kind of walk and live that lifestyle of what your business is. I always
Right.
tell people that elevator picture is the most important thing sometimes, because I've been in the room with so many different people, and you really only have sometimes 15 to 30 seconds to really explain what you can do, what you're doing, and how you want to be able to work with them. You know, So I would say what's the goal and what's the mission for your business? Number one, you know, who you want to help, who do you want to touch, what's the objective, what's your customers, you know, that's the first start to be able to even, you know, have a business. You know,
Mm.
what are you serving, who are you serving? I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
initiative. Secondly, I think it's being able to see projections. You know what I mean? Knowing what
Right.
service you can provide and knowing how you can be able to obviously, like, you know, reap those benefits and see the outcome, you know, come. You know, how many you know, how many people do you got to get a haircut from for the entire month to be able to run a successful barbershop? How many people do you need to be in front of or speak in front of to be able to be considered a successful motivational speaker? How do you know, how many orders do I got to take to be able to be a successful McDonald's? You know what I mean? Just
Right.
certain things you got to be able to see the numbers and the metric come out of it to be able to see, is it really going to work? So I think it's being able to have that business plan, you know, to be able to see, okay, this is what the numbers need to look like. So you kind of have you can kind of check those goals off every week, every month, every day as you're moving through
Right.
your business. And I don't want to kind of put these in order, but it's also the people that you keep around you. You know, your
Mm.
team,
Wow.
your team is very important. You know,
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, do you do it by yourself or you have a team that you working with?
no, not at all. I mean, I always look at myself as a team member because, you know,
Exactly.
if it wasn't for the people who kind of put me in the position to be motivated, you know,
Mm-hmm.
then
Yes.
I don't think I'd be where I am right now. You know, just even in the
Exactly.
barbershop, right? I'm in the barbershop right now. It's 10 o'clock and nobody else in here but my barber. You know, make sure to always look out for me. And this is one of my big homies, so it's like the opportunity to be able to call on my big homie. You know,
Right.
is a blessing in itself. You know
Shout
what I
out,
mean?
Big ups to the barber.
Barbara.
Yeah, they putting that sauce on my youngster. Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly though, then the people you keep around you is sometimes, you know, um, uh, a reflection of the type of business that you run. You know,
Do it.
to be able to keep the knowledge around you, to be able to keep things up to date, to be able to have people that's going to check you. You know, and,
Right.
and and tell you when you fucking up, tell you when you know
Yes.
you're
Absolutely.
not going this
Constructive
hard.
criticism.
You gotta,
Yes.
and as a boss, you got to be able to take that. You know,
Yes.
I think a
Right.
lot of people sometimes are a little too sensitive, depending on, especially when it's they shit. But if it's your shit, you know, you gotta work with people. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
you gotta be able to take in that criticism and understand that, like, you know, not everybody's gonna like your shit. You know what I mean? Not everybody's
Mm.
gonna like the way that you do business, but at the end of the day, if they can respect you, that's all that
Right.
matters. You know.
That's right.
Now, I'm about to ask a question. I don't want to, because I know the barber listening and everything. I don't want him to cut
Oh
your
no,
neck
you
and
you
everything.
you in you in my headphones. You good?
What I'm asking you is this, and this is something that's very interesting. It's an interesting conversation of, and I want you to explain the advantages of this. You have people that's become rich in this game,
Mm-hmm.
musically and just being creative, just building businesses and everything, and have no education. And some people
Mm.
feel like, well, hey, there's no need for me to go to college. You have people already got rich at this. Explain to the people the advantages that you have from taking the time to get the knowledge, the connections, the understanding of what you're doing to get where you at now.
I'm gonna be honest. You know, I've been in Cleveland 10 years now. You know, in the Midwest. You know, when I first came to Cleveland, you know, the poverty was low, crime was high. You know, top five
Wow.
worst states to be in. You know, and at times I always question myself on what keeps me here. You know, but I will say college is definitely something that's allowing me to be where I'm at right now, because what it taught me and what it continues to teach me is the opportunity to be able to network. You know,
Right.
network. And I went to a small private liberal arts college, you know, with about maybe 4,000 people at most, 5,000 people. But I made sure that I connected and networked with everybody from the janitor who would clean the admissions office to the president of the university. You know, to where I was on first name basis with everybody, and that's kind of how I
Wow.
like to be able to move around. You know, within the city I'm in now, is to being able to network with the right individuals who's going to be able to speak your name in those rooms that you're not in. And then also, speak highly of you, and like I said, check you consistently when you know that you got more to do. So college for me allowed me to really, like, number one, sometimes put myself second, and look at the opportunity and the benefit of being able to network with an individual to be able to push myself forward, or to be able to put somebody else on as well. There's been numerous
Right.
of younger people who are younger than me. I don't
Mm.
call them my little brothers, but I call them just brothers of mine who are younger, that I've been able to help advance just within staying motivated and connecting them with another person who's been able to give them a job, who's been able to help them join a fraternity or something, or sorority or something like that. But just the importance of being able to put people in front of other people, including myself, in front of others. I think that's the most thing that I took out of college. And of course, I would say probably just the balance,
Right, right, right,
balance
right,
of
right.
balance of emotions, just from, when you're having a shitty day, when you're having a horrible day, when somebody done pissed you off, being able to balance that with the shit that you still got to take care of for the rest of the day, with the shit that you still got to be able to do the following week, with work that you still got to do later on that day. I think that's what allowed me to be able to just really have a true balance within this real life is college. Playing basketball in college, being away from
Absolutely.
home, being having culture shock, knowing that all my, me being Jamaican and Caribbean, I ain't grew up eating a lot of American food, and coming to Cleveland, Ohio, I'm eating nothing but American fucking food. So for me, it's like, shit,
Right.
this is different, but just adjusting to it and having the balance to be able to understand, and the willing to want to understand is important as well. So that's what allowed me to
Right.
do it, and take a lot from my college days. I actually just went back to my college maybe a month ago in the past. I haven't been back there maybe in 3 years. So I just went back the
Wow.
first time just to go walk around, just to kind of get
Right.
that
You
same
going
feeling.
next.
Yeah, just to get that same feeling that I had, that same motivation I had. I remember my freshman year, I was the last person on the bench. When it came to basketball season, I was the last person on the bench, literally the last person on the bench my freshman year. I told myself moving forward, my sophomore year, I would never ever sit on the bench like that again.
Come
You
on
know,
And
now.
you were.
and you put that work in, and I played every game after my sophomore year. So
Most definitely.
That's what's up.
I noticed you spoke on team, and there's two questions I have to ask about that. Because when it come to business, you need a team. If you had any advice to give a person that's trying to start a business, explain to me how would they go about the team thing? Because I may think team is my homeboys, everybody around me.
right.
You did?
Right, I feel you. I feel you. Team for me, number one, it starts with passion. I'm a person who likes to put in overtime, even when I don't got to put in overtime.
Yeah.
Just because it allows me to grow and learn more. So people who want to learn more and grow at the same time and love what they do, I think that's a great team member. So you got to look at people who have those same attributes, and those same wants, to be able to join your team. And then accountability, being able to raise your hand and say when you fucked up, and to be honest. It's hard
Mm.
sometimes because you're scared, you're scared or nervous to let somebody down. But what I've realized is, miscommunication could be the worst communication. You know,
Mm.
or no communication could be the worst communication at all sometimes, because
Mm.
it could make the situation a lot more worse than it truly was if you were just honest about it. So I think when you're looking at a team, you got to, number one, have honesty, you got to have passion, and you got to be able to take yourself out the situation of whatever position you're in and look at the team perspective as the goal. You're only as strong as the people that you're around. You
That's
know,
right.
Right.
if you're the only person in the group talking all the time, then something's wrong. Somebody, you gotta either add some more people in the team that's gonna tell you to shut the hell up, and be able to speak up themselves too. But then
Right.
you also, for me, I think I work the best when I'm on a team that's full of individuals who can take initiative. Being
Right.
able to take initiative is so important when you're a team player, because you don't ever want to watch another team player just take all the work. You don't ever want to see them have to, put I don't want to say extra work in, but more so just see them struggle when you know that you can take some of the slack off of them. So I think a lot of it has to do with just trust within yourself, as well as trust and growth that you want to see in somebody else. You know,
Mm.
if you just sitting here telling somebody, nah, I don't fuck with them, or nah, they doing this, that, and this, and the third, and whatever, and and there's so much negative and animosity, then your team starts to dwindle. Your team starts to fall apart, and it can make you as well as your team members less motivated.
Yes.
Right.
Big
And,
facts.
and that's the question I was gonna ask. Because in business, your response to those W's and those L's, you feel what I'm saying, is very important. So how do you keep your team motivated? Because I noticed you went from museum to different night spots and nightclubs to even, what I'm saying, the rooftop. How do you get them to continue to believe and be motivated in what you're speaking on?
Honestly, it's believing in them. It's seeing the more in your team. It's being
Mm.
able to see that the cap that they think that they're at, or the place that they think that they're at, is not. It's not it. There's more. There's more money to be made. There's more opportunities. There's more people to be in front of. There's more people to impact. You know, I think sometimes it's really just knowing that there's more opportunity, there's more leverage, there's more people to impact. Honestly, in my opinion. No.
That's real facts.
What's been the most rewarding thing about doing this, what you're doing? Because I noticed that you're not only building something for yourself, you're teaching, and you're also putting spaces where creatives can really do their thing, not only lyrically, but with paint and art.
Um, Honestly, I think what allows me to be able to see that is when I hear people say, "Man, this is my first ever such and such," and this happened, this was yeah.
Yeah.
When I hear shit like
Yeah.
that,
Hell yeah.
that lets me know, like, okay, I'm gonna take a drink tonight because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy it a little bit more because it means that much more to me that it impacted somebody else. Like I remember my first ever art show that I did in 2017.
Hmm.
And mind you, I don't paint, I don't draw, I still draw stick figures and shit. That's how bad I am. But
Yeah.
I'm so much of a lover for art. I find a way to just I look at myself as just a person who has an eye for creativity. So my first
Mhm.
ever art show, I looked, and what's so crazy is this is maybe 2 months ago. I looked back at an individual who was in my first ever art show in 2017. And right now in Cleveland, he probably is one of the top artists in the city. I mean, white and black. He's doing murals. He's doing commission pieces. He's painting in fucking museums. He's painting in restaurants. He's has
Uh,
numerous of murals around the city. So for me to say, damn, he was in my show in 2017, a couple years ago, almost 5 years ago, shows me that, like, I believed in him then, and I still believe in him now. And and still to this day, he says to me, I don't have no team, I don't have no manager, I don't have no person who's working with me. So for me, it's like, damn, okay, there's still more work to be done. There's still more
Right.
opportunity. There's still more exposure for him. Like
Right.
right.
he hasn't reached the ceiling yet. You know what I mean? So just when I see shit like that happen, sometimes it makes me know that, yeah, I got something. I got something, 100%. What you
A
got?
lot of times when people start businesses, they may have a million great ideas. They may have 65 movies, but they may not have the resources. They may not have the finances. Could you give me any advice I can give someone on that? Just to whether maybe even look or even start looking or even something to think about.
Number one, right now, I would tell everybody, if you don't have an LLC, make a LLC. Number one,
Mhm.
make 2 or 3 LLCs, and start to learn how to position your business to pay yourself. You know, so if you work in a 9 to 5 job, even if you have an LLC and you put in $100 into your business and it's paying yourself, you just understanding and learning about certain aspects of business, from taxes to to payroll. So you're just learning all those basic things. But if you don't really have the funding, if you don't really have the budget to really do certain things that you want to do, a lot of your friends do, so some same
Absolutely.
friends who want to be around you all the time, and you know, want to spend money just bullshit wise, tell them, hey, I got such and such going on. This is how you can invest in this to be able to make this happen. And this is your return. You know, a lot of my friends who, you know, are in different worlds, you know, or do different things out, you know, when the sun is down, you know, I look at it like, all right, well, this is an opportunity for you to, you know, clean up a lot of that money, or for you to be able to invest some of that money and not have to work as hard, you know? So I think you just got to really have a good product or a good brand or a good business that makes an individual who's next to you or around you want to believe in that. If not, then, you know, there's so much money out here right now. There's so many grants that are going on. You know, you just got to really look in the right places. You have to just apply yourself and do the homework and the research to really find some money. I promise you. There's money out there just from filling out surveys online every day. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of opportunity out there. So for people to say, you know, there ain't no money out there, you just ain't looking hard enough.
Define excuses in your line of business.
Whew. Excuses, man. I think excuses is more so I don't want to do it. You know, I don't even think there's no middle ground. It's either you want to do it and you're doing it to the best of your ability, or you don't want to do it at all and you just faking it, you capping. You know?
Absolutely.
And I think the individuals who's capping and don't want to do it, you know, they just need to get out the way and let the people who really want to do it and don't have the resources to do it, you know, shed more light on them. Some people don't understand that, you know, if I don't have all the answers, you know, if I look to somebody else who doesn't have all the answers, but they're willing to do more homework than me, that could be a benefit. You know, I could add more light to them because they want to study more, they want to grind more, they want to stay in the gym more, they want to shoot, they want to work out more. And shit, if I can boast them up and pump them up, shit, that might be beneficial to me too. You know, so some people just don't know how to. You got to work your angle of how you really, you know, build people up. Because when you build people up, they ain't gonna forget you building them up. And if they do, then shit, you know, you just gain more confidence in yourself because shit, you know that you can help somebody else make themselves great.
Let me say this. I want to apologize, first of all, because I'm in and out, because I'm taking care of my 82-year-old daddy that has dementia, and he comes in and he knocks on the door while I'm doing this right here. So I just had to apologize to you. I don't mean to come in and out, but this is what I'm dealing with. So.
Nah, you good. I respect that 100%. And tell Pops I said, what up, Pops?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What I was going to ask, you know, for those that, you know, I mean, when you go into business, you know, you're going to have your ups and downs. What would be your best advice for those that feel that, you know, they say you have to have tough skin because you're going to face challenges. How did you face your challenges when you was doing what you were doing with your business?
Man, I can give you a perfect example. You know, the pandemic happened for all of us in the world. You know, and everybody had to kind of either reinvent themselves, re-identify themselves. You know, find a way to find a love for something else, especially if you lost your job. And for some people right now, it's still finding that because your job ain't letting you back unless you get vaccinated. You know,
that's right.
So for me, you know, working, I was working in radio full time. You know, so I was working in music. I was working behind the scenes, and I'm back to it part time now. But you know, what allowed me to really jump into the full entrepreneurship was, number one, knowing that I've already been doing it. I've already been doing it because my father's already been doing it. My mom's already been doing it. It's in my blood, you know. So that's number one, is just believing in myself. You know, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't do, is just believe in themselves, you know.
Yes.
And know that, you know, God is obviously gonna guide you and walk you through everything that you can go through. But more importantly, it's like the more work that you put in, the better results. You know, if you in the gym 7 days a week, you're gonna see them results after the 7th day. You know, and if you don't put 7 more days in, and I guarantee you see it after that.
Exactly, you know? Exactly. It's all about the work you put in.
It is. But I would also say, you know, when the pandemic started, you know, I didn't really know exactly what field of work I wanted to get into next, because I didn't know what I was extra passionate about besides music and being able to help people and bring people together. And then one thing I realized was that I needed to find what the need was in a time like that, you know, and I said to myself, the need was people still wanting to be together, but in their own private entity or in their own private environment. And that's what allowed me to open up my own creative space, you know. And when I opened up my own creative space, it allowed me and my partners to be able to invite our own friends, invite individuals who we knew, you know, still wanted to have functions and different, you know, things together with some of their friends to be able to use my space, you know. And I promise you, from that, you know, came other entrepreneurs who opened up their own space. You know, a couple of my big homies, they saw what I had going on. They called my landlord and got their own space as well, you know. So for me, it showed me that, like, you know, influence is not just the way that you move. It's just the way that you think sometimes as well. You know what I mean? Just thinking outside the box, you know, influences somebody to also say, shit, I can think outside the box as well. You know, and kind of, and kind of see where your goal aligns with that. You know, I think everybody's goals is different when it comes to what you truly love, but you know, just seeing in this situation now, like I always been telling myself, I want to start an interview, you know, an interview campaign, and being able to sit here with you guys, let me know, like, shit, all right, after I get off this phone, let me go back to them notes that I've been writing and see how I can, you know what I mean, and see how I can critique that and get back to doing it, because this is really what I want to do. You know,
exactly.
So yeah, it's you got to take motivation from everything that's in front of you, everything that's around you. You know, just
doing what you love.
100%.
Well, look, we coming to a part in our interview where we call this part of it, you know, talk your shit. So,
oh my goodness,
I have some important questions for you. And the question is this. Well, first question is this. You threw a function. And see, I done seen all stars you there, Beanie Siegel, I done seen them all come through. Tell me what time you had a show and somebody came through and blew your mind. You were that surprised they showed up.
Has it ever happened?
Think about that. Hold up.
It's Young D you talking about. What you mean?
Hold up.
Man, this boy done been on Fox and all that. Come on, man. Come on, man. This the man. Tell me when the Lord blew your mind. Come on.
All right. I'll say this. I remember just this summer, you know, and this is how I realized how much an impression really matters. You know, I got invited to a party out to Rick Ross's crib. You know, it was a Bel'Aire event, and I was honored to be able to go out there to represent the ambassadorship from Ohio. And the owner of Bel'Aire was there, and you know, we only had one conversation. You know, we had one conversation prior, which was on the Zoom call, which was other people on the call as well and stuff like that. But when we seen each other in person, he looked at me and gave me this look like, I know exactly who you are. You know,
wow.
And from there, that's when I realized that, okay, your first impression sometimes is your best impression.
Yes.
You know, and it's everything, like you said, because you know that from there allowed me to be able to even more confident in the work and the things that I'm doing right now, and let myself know that this is the industry I'm supposed to be tapping into right now. You know, so that did it for me, and that was recently. You know, and it let me know, like, all right, I've been doing my work to be able to have that recognition immediately, face to face. It wasn't like a second look. It was like a, what the hell are you? It was more so like a, what the hell are you doing here? How the hell are you here? You know, type of thing. And from there, it was just love. You know, outside of that though, I would say here in Cleveland, I remember I was in a party one time that I was throwing, and who was it? Was it Flo Rida? Flo Rida randomly just came into one of the parties, and you know, I got the phone call that he was on the way down. But from there, it was like, what the, you know, that's when you realize, like, okay, something that you're doing in the city is gravitating people's heads. and make people want to come out. You know, so
right.
Absolutely.
It was something you was doing.
hmm
That's a blessing.
Tell me a time you said, team, it's going down. This one is going to jump.
Mm.
And you got there, and it wasn't jumping. Because, see, we all got to start somewhere in the mud. Is it possible, Young D? Tell me the truth.
You know,
you remember when 3 people was there? Come on. Come on.
I definitely do. You know, I started my whole party event planning concept in college. You know, I was 19 years old, and I threw my first ever college party, and nobody came.
Oh wow!
Nobody came whatsoever. You know, a couple of the black people came. You know what I mean? But nobody came for real. You know, but the next time I did it though, oh, best believe that bitch was gone.
It was jumping, huh?
That's right.
Gone, 100%.
Out the mud. 100%. That's right.
But in the real world though, you know, I jumped out and decided not to go back home to Florida. I stayed in Cleveland, and I jumped into the nightlife world a little bit, you know, and I've done some nights to where it's been dead. Like it's just us and the bartenders in there getting drunk, you know. But you learn from that and realize how you really got to touch the people within your demographic and within your city sometimes, and how people really want to come out. So, and
the reason why I said that, because Unc always up, y'all. I'm always up, my nephew. What I'm trying to get, I want the people to understand is, hey, we all still human, and hey, they're not L's, they're lessons. So yeah, we all gonna take them. It didn't start off big like this. I mean, people didn't just pop off and just jump off, just running up the hill. It's a past there.
Yes.
Not at all. I mean, I didn't see so many videos of artists and rappers who done performed, you know, in concerts and venues, and nobody's been in there at all, you know. You know, and then next you know they household names.
Right.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. I mean, facts is facts. Now, I gotta take my belt back out now. Y'all made me put it up a little bit. I got 2 more questions. My next question is this, Young Dennis.
What you got for him, babe?
Young Dennis, sometimes we like to lie to the people, but don't like talking about it. We tell the truth 100%.
Facts.
You was on Fox. Was you nervous?
Nah, I wasn't nervous, man.
Oh, I know. Come on, Jay. Come on. Come on, G, man.
So you said you don't never get nervous, or like?
I'm that person that I'll be nervous the whole roller coaster line. You know, I'll be the dude in line ready to piss my damn self because I'm nervous as hell. Right. But when I get on that roller coaster, I'm sitting in the front. I'm sitting in the front seat.
Yeah.
I done waited all this damn time. I'm gonna get the best out of this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nervousness is supposed to happen. You know, it's the nerves.
Yes.
You know, you're supposed to have that when you're excited. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, but if it's something that you know you're supposed to be doing, you get that shit done.
No problem.
Yeah, study, get the homework, do the homework on the back. If you just walking into it and not knowing what the hell you about to talk about, that's different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you there with a mission and with a purpose and with a goal, oh, you good. You know, you're supposed to be nervous. You know, even when I was on Fox and was talking on the news and talking in front of people, and even when I've talked in front of, you know, students in college and, you know, gyms full of 100 people or something like that, you know, for me, it was just more so just knowing that shit, whatever I got to say has to be said.
Yes.
If they like it or not, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's something that has to be said, if it's a part of the agenda, if it's something that's on my mind, if it's something that people need to hear. I just felt like, you know, you got to just speak with it with confidence, you know? And after you're done. Shit.
Oh, straight.
Straight up.
And you have a question? And my last question is this. The ultimate dream.
Future.
The future. Matthew Dennis. What do you see?
Young Dennis. No, let me stop.
The future for me is to be able to number one, see other people who look like me, who had aspirations like me, have the resources, to be able to get it done. If it's being able to curate, if it's being able to play basketball, if it's being able to college executed, from going to
Mm-hmm.
school to playing the sports that you love to play to being able to create, creating those atmospheres for that. So for number one, for me, it's being able to have a resource or a nonprofit organization that can accommodate all of those different things. That's the number one goal for me. Number two is to be able to, see my family, because again, we're not from America, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's to be able to see us go back to our homelands and really enjoy the life that they were raised in,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to have me there with them, enjoying it as well. So being able to go back to South America and see my mom living the best life that she's had, being able
Big
to
up
go
to
back to
South
Jamaica
America.
and seeing my dad,
Big ups to Jamaica.
sit down with my grandfather and be able to enjoy a beer, you know what I mean,
Oh my
to the
goodness,
best
that's
of our
awesome.
ability, And then lastly, I would say, I'm a real big advocate on community, just
Mm.
And
recently.
I noticed that, man. Y'all was feeding the people, and I mean, dude, come on, bro.
Yeah, because I
That's
mean,
no lie.
the people is your consumers. You know what I mean? The people, depending on what industry you're in, the people is what's going to continue to consistently buy your product, buy your service, buy whatever you're selling. You know what I mean? So, in order to be able to have them consistently want more, you got to take care of them. So,
Mhm.
community center is my goal. If it's a community center, if it's a creative arts center, if it's
Mhm.
I think just being able to have a building, if it's in my home city, New York, if it's in Cleveland, if it's in Florida, wherever it's at, just being able to have that as a resource is one of my biggest, things that I look forward to.
Well, my last question before I close, I always have a trick question, and it's something very simple, and I know it's probably gonna surprise you too. I'm just waiting to see your face when I ask it.
How much is the drink?
You still taking pictures?
Actually, a little bit. I just had a photo shoot yesterday. A little bit.
Wow.
You mean like in front of the camera or behind the camera?
No, behind the camera.
I just had a photo shoot yesterday. I just took some pictures of. I'm actually about to start a little series where I take some pictures of some bosses. I just did a little photo shoot where I had an individual. She's a business owner. She owns her own group home.
Mhm.
I had to take some pictures with the Rick Ross, the new Boss Up book, and I said to
Wow.
myself, this is a nice concept. I like this. I might have to make this a series. So
Wow.
just being able to be in front of people like that is what sparks me to want to do more at times as well. So
Man,
Okay.
most definitely.
Okay,
oh,
look,
absolutely.
I heard you say that you've been to colleges talking to the kids, and what do you tell the kids to influence them to get on your level? Like not on your level, but just to influence them to build up to get to that point where you're at. Just in case kids wanna like learn what you're doing and how to do what you do. What do you talk about when you go to these colleges, and what kind of advice do you give the kids, in other words, is what I'm asking.
Um,
What do you call it? Is what she asked.
Number one, I mean, the first thing I'll say to them is, make sure that you have a why. Why are you doing this?
Come on, yes.
If you're just doing it because you look good or you rich or whatnot, that can get
Right.
old. That can get old or dry really fast, and miserable.
Mm.
So that's the first thing I say is have a why. I'm gonna use the restroom quick
Okay.
though, and then from there, I would say it's how important is your family to you? How much has your family sacrificed to have you in this seat, to have you in this chair?
Okay.
So think of them when you tell yourself you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, or you can't.
Right.
The word "can't" is something that I tell people like that's get that out your vocabulary.
It's no such word of
There's
that.
no such word. If I
Exactly.
would if I
Absolutely.
would have told myself I can't be in Cleveland for 10+ years, owning my own studio, working at the radio station, working with Bel'Aire, if
Uh-huh.
I would have told myself all these shit, I would have probably still been back in New York right now.
Exactly.
Wow.
So
Absolutely.
you just gotta really set it in front of yourself and knock down every single goal one by one. Um,
Right.
and then
Absolutely.
the biggest thing I would also say is to listen. You know,
Ooh,
Wow.
that's
a
a
lot
big
of
part of it.
people sometimes feel like they know all the answers, or you know, they know what's right from wrong, or
Mm-hmm.
they got everything figured out. But a lot of my lessons have come from just listening to people who's already done it, listening to people who's failed at it, listening to people who's who are still trying to do it but are a little bit further ahead than me. You know, critiquing what they're doing, critiquing
Right.
the mistakes that they've made, and try to
Mm-hmm.
just perfect it within the things that I do and how I move forward myself.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what I want to close by saying, young D, you've been, you put the work in, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you gave opportunities to those, creatives, you know what I'm saying? As I said, lyrically and also with paintbrushes, you did. Just letting people open up and be themselves. You gave them opportunities, gave them spaces to where you creating something big, even teaching people businesses, and you changing and making a whole nother culture. We want to appreciate you tonight. We
Yes.
want to thank you the contributions you've put in, the time you've put in,
Wow.
and the
Yes.
thoughts you've put in. You did.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of times, a lot of us we may get overlooked because we're on the other side of the game, on the business side or whatever. But we want to thank you tonight. If you haven't ever been thanked, we hope that you take this, you further what you're doing, continue to motivate the culture, and continue to be who you are.
That's
Yes.
love.
And that's
That's
if
it.
you didn't. Thank you for being on
Appreciate
Like
you.
Talking About It.
Appreciate you
Don't
guys
never
so much.
give up.
Never
Can't.
give up.
Can't. I appreciate you guys tonight too for just bringing me in. I see what you guys been doing. Y'all been talking to some amazing people in the industry,
It's
and
our
Absolutely.
blessings.
I'm honored to be able to sit here with you guys right now. I'll tell the
Oh,
OG
thank you.
next time I'm back in the city, we going out, we eating good, we drinking good, we having a good time, we smoking
No,
good, all
it's
of the
good.
above,
It's
you
Yes.
know.
good. It's good,
We
nephew,
thank
man. I
you.
appreciate you,
We
nephew,
honor
man.
you just for giving us your time.
Thank you
Most
guys.
deaf, man.
Thank you
And
so
and hey,
much.
whenever next time you're having anything, man, hey man, let us know, tap in, man. We'll pass it
Yeah.
around, man. We can help build what you're starting with. You feel what I'm saying? Hey,
I
we
got
love
you.
what you're doing, man. Stay tapped in like talking about, you feel me?
Got you.
Till then, Uncle got love for you.
Love.
Thank
Holla
you
at
so
me, man.
See y'all.
much.
Be safe.
All right. Have a blessed night.
You
All the
too.
time.
All right.
Bet it. Man, y'all know the recipe, man. Like talking about it, another episode.
Yes,
Young
you
Dennis
guys.
giving
So
it
we
up,
love
man.
that. Young Dennis coming through, y'all, on the
You
Like Talking
did.
About It podcast. Y'all better tap in. If y'all haven't tapped in, y'all better start tapping in.
Man, God
Because
is
we've been
good.
blessed to get these
God good,
interviews. You've
man.
heard
You know what
me.
I'm saying?
We don't claim nothing. It's only through blessings, okay? So
Absolutely.
thank
Absolutely.
you everyone that then tapped in, that gave us their
Thank
time.
God.
We thank you guys 100%.
Absolutely. And
Like
also
talking
thank you
about
for
it.
taking out your time, to listen. You
Yes.
dig? Big ups to Big Tigger. He's bringing back the rap sales. So that's ultimate. That's beautiful for the culture. You dig? Big shout out to him. You know what I'm saying?
But we
OG
love you
and
guys.
TK.
Thank you
Love you
so much
guys.
for tuning
Tune in to
in.
next time.
Tune
You
in to next
dig?
time. We like talking about
Hey,
it with
yeah.
Unc over here.
Psh,
And that
Mama
girl,
Fee.
Mamafee. Y'all better know.
Come
We
on,
love
man.
y'all. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Tap in. You dig?
Peace out.
Gia. Bel'Aire, boys.